All right. So again, this is our little webinar series on #adulting. My name is Stephanie Hahn-Silva, and we will go ahead and get started here. So probably should start with a little introduction about myself. Tell you a little bit about what necessarily qualifies me to talk about adulting, right? So as I mentioned, my name is Stephanie Hahn-Silva. I am a first-year admissions counselor here at Elmhurst University. I am also an alumna of Elmhurst, so I graduated here in 2019. My pronouns are she, her, hers, and these are just some of the fun things that #adulting has helped me accomplish, to kind of give you a taste of, what some of these overarching ideas can, lead to down the road, just as a, just as a starting point. So like I said, I graduated from here in 2019. I was a double major, double minor. I promise it wasn't as scary as it sounds because it double dipped a lot, and I was able to make the most of my resources to find, courses and, a graduation plan that was, super efficient and effective, which worked out really well. I'm also a first generation student, so that means that my parents did not graduate from a university. So really navigating the entire college process was new to me and terrifying. And that's kind of, something I am really proud of because I survived and I'm on the other side of it now and have loads of more experience and knowledge to, not only help others, but to feel more, confident myself within that, which is fantastic. So I also lived on campus for 2 years. Then I commuted. I had a little bit of everything at Elmhurst, which is really fun. I worked as a student worker here. So during the school year, I worked within the Office of Registration Records, just kind of doing clerical work, all that fun stuff. In the summers, I was also a peer advisor. So like I said, getting a lot of that fun experience, learning how to balance everything, school and work and, life outside. And then my favorite thing was that I studied abroad during my junior year. I went on a multi-locational trip. And it was absolutely phenomenal. And so these were just some of the things that I was able to accomplish through my #adulting. So you may ask, what is adulting? Really, that's a great question because it has, I'm sure there's probably a definition out there somewhere on the internet, but really it is make it your own. It is something that very much like your life, it is going to be something that you get to decide what that looks like, what you want it to look like. Obviously, you've got your standards, measures of success, or, your own goals and things like that. But really, this is the time for you to take control over your life and decide what you want your life to look like, what you want to consider a measure of success, right? Don't be afraid of learning. I know it seems a little bit daunting. You're like, how am I supposed to know all these things to start the college process, to go through college, to graduate and move on in life and get a job and do all these things? It starts one step at a time. So keep that in mind. I know it can be really, really intimidating and overwhelming all the time. And just know that, first of all, everyone's going through the same thing, but also that it is a process. Even if it's a failure, it's a process, and you will learn from those failures in the best way. And sometimes those can be the best lessons. As much as they might sting a little bit, they really do teach you so much and make you say all these cheesy things like, you learn from your failures. I know it's very silly, but one of the other things about adulting is that really when I think about what adulting means is being comfortable advocating for yourself, and asking for help because, sure, you're not going to know everything off the bat. You may feel really confident in one area and then turns out you knew nothing about it and you really need more information about that, or things have changed. But I think one of the most important lessons about adulting is that it is, like I said, it is a make it your own. You have to ask for that help yourself. You have to reach out for those things to say, hey, I want to do this, or this is the goal I have in life. How do I get there? You know, sure, you can try it yourself, and absolutely some may succeed, but I think those that are able to reach out, ask for help, advocate for themselves, those are the ones that are going to be even more successful, because it's not only, you know, just working off yourself, but being an adult, knowing when you have to accept that you don't know everything, accept that you're going to need to learn some more, accept all these things, and most importantly, accept help, because help is really important. And then, of course, you know, acknowledge the stereotypical things that come into mind, right? You know, I'm sure you've been hearing from every, you know, person in your life, okay, here's your plan. You got to go to school, you got to go with this, you got to do that, then you get a job, then you do this, then you do that. And all these goals, all these, you know, markers in your mind as to what qualifies as success, what qualifies a person to be considered an adult, and all those fun things. And sure, you can apply them if you're cool with that, but don't limit yourself to that, right? Again, this is the time to make it your own. Decide what you want that to look like. Decide what adulting looks like to you, right? Sometimes adulting means, you know, going down these crazy paths, but if it's something you're passionate about, if it's something you want to focus in, then why not? Who's to stop you? You know, I mean, hopefully it's something good and, you know, not harmful to anyone or anything like that, but you get the point. I think sometimes we can get stuck in these boxes of, you know, what our societal norms are and things like that. But adulting, like I said, is just kind of breaking out of that, asking yourself those big questions of what you want to look at. So you're like, that's kind of a lot. Okay, where do I get started? You get started one step at a time. So we're working on, you know, moving into your next big transition in life, moving from high school to college, really moving from, you know, staying with your families, going to school every day, this and that. And now we're moving into, you know, real quote unquote adult life by yourself, living out college life, all that fun stuff. How are you going to prepare? Well, first step is we want to make sure you actually get here and can start that process. So most important thing that I can tell you, any admissions counselor is going to tell you, is to read your emails. We are going to be sending you a lot of things. We already have sent you a lot of things. And I know it can be really tedious sometimes and really overwhelming. You've got a lot of stuff going on already, but oftentimes those emails are really important, and we send them for good reason, like to give you reminders about deadlines that are coming up that are really important, things to get you started with, to make sure that you're fully prepared and set up for success to start your freshman year here at Elmhurst. You know, getting through those you know, annoying situations, advising dates and proficiency tests and placements and housing applications, all that kind of fun stuff. I know we send a lot of stuff, but it's really, really important that you do read those emails. And not only, you know, as just a lesson to get started here at Elmhurst, but it's a lesson for life. You know, anytime, you know, as you're moving through your life and the next stages of, you know, what that looks like, you're going to be getting more and more emails throughout time. And I know it's tedious. I know it's really annoying. I even struggle with it myself still, but unfortunately, we are now very much based on email communications, all those fun things, and you get a lot of important information through those, and you got to be sure you're on top of it, because otherwise you may miss out on important information that could set you back, that, you know, isn't necessarily necessary. So you say, okay, got the emails down, what's next? Next, we understand that this process, you know, transitioning from high school to college is, like I said, very daunting, and there's so many different facets of everything. You're like, where do I start? Fortunately, we have a handy dandy checklist that is located on your virtual Bluejay roost. I highly recommend that you guys check it out whenever you get a chance. It is really helpful to walk you through those steps, especially as your family starts to ask you, hey, what are you supposed to be doing right now to get started for Elmhurst, right? You're like, I don't know, I think I'm set, right? Well, now you can double check out your checklist and see where you're at, see what's coming up next, what's on your list before you get started for the semester in August. You know, keep tabs on that. in addition to those emails. And then of course, next best thing is to ask yourself, what are you nervous? What are you unsure about? What's giving you, reason to pause? What are you feeling a little bit uneasy about? And then reach out for help on those things so we can address them. Like I said, being in the admission side of things, we see so many students, so many families at various levels, and there's no shame in asking for help or asking for clarification on things, or just saying like, hey, I'm a little bit nervous, because we are happy to talk about those things. We've all been there. Like I said, I went here myself, and as a first generation student, I know how daunting all of this can seem. Not only just, approaching college and life, but Elmhurst, the unknown, all these different things, financial aid, it doesn't have to be as awful as it may feel right now. And you got to reach out for help so we can walk you through those things, give you some tips, give you some tricks, talk you through things that will make it easier. But you got to reach out for that. So pro tip for everyone, reach out to your admissions counselor. Questions, concerns, anything, you just want more resources, or you're not sure about this, or this is kind of confusing to you, reach out to them, because I guarantee you they will be more than happy to talk with you, give you some resources, or point you in the right direction to make sure that you're feeling comfortable and ready for your semester here at Elmhurst. Anything to make it that much easier for you to get started and have a fantastic time. So that checklist I mentioned, I'm going to go ahead and just show you guys how to find that. So when you go onto your My Elmhurst portal, and then you go ahead and click on admitted students, you'll see in that top left-hand corner, you've got that little section of icons. From there, you'll click on My Virtual Bluejay Roost. From there, you'll then get a new dialog box that pops open that has the Virtual Bluejay Roost. Underneath it, you'll then see I'm admitted, what's next as one of those tabs you can see in that second picture right underneath it. If you click on that, it'll start you with that to-do list that's on the right-hand side here, just to give you kind of an overview. And it'll look, as you go through it, you'll see how it pops up and show you that you've completed this, you're done with that, this is next, this is left. Those are things that, like I said, I highly recommend you take a look at, because it will be very helpful for you as you're working through these next steps as to what to do and how to get ready for the fall semester. And again, if you have trouble accessing all of these things, reach out to your admissions counselor. All right. So what else? Resources. You got to use resources in order to help yourself. Really, it's the best thing in my opinion. And one of the easiest ways to work through, that transition to becoming an adult is understanding either what resources are available out there to you, or B, how to access them, how to start that, how to start digging for those things. So, right, let's say you're unfamiliar with the topic. What do you do from there? You start with basic level research, really whatever you're comfortable with. I know myself, if I hear about something that I have no idea what that even means, and it's something I need to know about, I start with a quick Google search, go from there, right? Read some top articles, go through there, try and find points of contact, or, additional information. I absolutely hate research. So my other favorite thing is to find somebody who's well-versed on those topics, so I can have a conversation with them and get more information or more resources, tips and tricks from somebody who knows it much better than I do, trying to read it off Google, right? And teach myself these things. These are some basic areas to get started in, and just reminders that, we're all kind of in the same boat, especially as you are working through this transition. It's going to take time to get used to Elmhurst resources, to get used to college and putting together papers, putting together research, what that looks like, compared to what it may have looked like when you were in high school. These things may change with time, but as you get better with these skills, it'll help you more and more as you work through the rest of your life. So to get us started with some resources, I just wanted to go ahead and point out some of the areas on our website that are really, really helpful. I know, websites, especially for a college campus, they can be absolute rabbit holes. You've got so many different pathways on all these different areas, and you're like, how do I find this information? I wish there was a way. First of all, you just got to poke around a little bit. I know it's a little tedious, but of course, you can always use the search function at the top of the screen, but there also are other areas to poke around in. So here are some highlights, just some areas that I highly recommend taking a look at. I know for me, financial aid, loans, tuition fees, it is, something that drives me up a wall because, I am not a financially savvy person. And even when I work through getting my own student loans, I still have to Google what the difference is between subsidized and unsubsidized loans because it's confusing. So know that there's resources out there. These are some screenshots from our financial aid pages on our website. Those are really easy to find, especially if you just go elmhurst.edu, pop over to the financial aid tab. You can see all these different landing pages for aid applying, scholarships, types of aid. On that right-hand picture, you can see there, it lists out the different types of aid. The best thing is that those types of aids are also hyperlinked to additional resource pages. So for those of you that are like, hey, you know what, I really appreciate the aid and award that you've given me so far. What else is out there? This is a really good starting point. Or having a conversation with your admissions counselor as well to see what other aids and award is available or out there that you can look into potentially to make things a little easier. Looking at tuition and fees, payment options, payment plans, all that fun stuff. These are all landing pages on the financial aid page. I highly recommend taking a look at them. Or again, if you're like me and you're like, I can read information about, all this aid till I'm blue in the face, and it's not going to make sense to me until I have a conversation with it and somebody can really break it down for me, then I would definitely recommend reaching out to financial aid. Our student financial services, they are a wonderful team. They also have a really handy feature on their website now with their contact information that's listed down there at the bottom. You can see how to call, email them, or my favorite is definitely just to book an appointment with them. Then you can decide. They give you various options to see if you want to book an appointment about loans, about how to file your FAFSA, general financial aid questions, whatever you're looking into, they have those options cater to you to make sure that you have access to that support, whatever kind of support you're looking for, they'll be there to help. So be sure to check that one out. Now, if you move on, next one is to poke around for your majors, your passion, right? You're just starting out at Elmhurst, which is fantastic. And by no means, should you feel pressured in this, but just know that there's also additional resources online in case you're curious, in case you want to start some conversations, get an idea of what's available to you. So on the on the left-hand side here, you'll see if you just go ahead, click on undergraduate programs, you can look through our majors and minors. Each of those areas has a hyperlinked section to pull you onto this next page on the right-hand side, where you can see a breakdown of it. So you'll see a breakdown of the major, some more information about internships that have been available to past students, future job placement options, required courses, faculty, all that kind of fun stuff. And it's different for every major, every program page, but it is personalized to those programs. So it has a lot of really good information on it. And I would recommend poking around just to see what's available. It may be information you've already gotten, or it may not be. It may be information that, changes your mind about something, or, piques an interest in something else. So another reminder to check out that resource as well. Now, the other fun thing that I really love to talk about when talking about Elmhurst is our Center for Professional Excellence. It is something you'll start to hear more information about as you get here, as you work through your classes and stuff. They are a wonderful resource center located in the lower level of the library. They are basically your go-to for everything related to your career. They will help you write a resume, do mock interviews, set up, and find an internship or a shadow placement. They also have a career closet on campus that is, it's stocked with donations from the community, and they have so many different options. They actually are really asking for students to come in and utilize it more because their closet, I think, is very much overflowing at this point. And those clothing options, those are perfect for interviews, other things, other professional development things that you may not have in your closet or may not have access to resources for those things. And that's something definitely I would highly recommend utilizing, because you also get to keep those clothes. As you go through the WCPE website, you'll see those different areas. They've got, like I said, the career education resource mentoring, internships, careers, breaking down everything a little bit further. In the middle picture here, you can see a little bit more about the services they offer, the career guidance, mentoring, shadowing, first leap, sophomore success, all that fun stuff. And on the right-hand side, we also have a little bit of their job search portal, which you can look into as well. It's called Handshake, and you'll get access to this as a Elmhurst student, as well as an alumni. That's the best thing about the WCPE. All of the resources and services that they provide are available to students, not only while they're here at Elmhurst, but for the rest of their life, right? So I graduated in 2019. I still call them up and ask them to check out my resume. They tell me it's awful. They're like, what did you do to this? I don't understand. I then work through those revisions, edits, and they help me out. We'll get you in touch with those resources, those networking events, whatever you're looking for, they will still be available even as you're an alumni, even after you've graduated, which is fantastic. Right. Next up, Learning Center. So for those of you who are wondering what kind of other support is available out there to you, know that the Learning Center is a really great one to utilize. Our Learning Center is located in the library here on campus. They are a wonderful section for students, really for everything. So they will work you through either tutoring or just setting yourself up for success, right? Studying, starting the term effectively, managing your time, all these different areas and all these different resources. So again, these are another landing pages that you should definitely check out, or even just pop by the Learning Center and the library when you are here on campus. It's a very popular center. A lot of students will hang out there. You also can get a job there if you excel in a certain area and say, I want to be a tutor and I want to help out with that. You can also work as a tutor there. Always options and opportunities available to all students. So be sure to check that out. Next up, we've got the Wellness Center. So in addition to making sure you have academic resources and support available to you, we also like to make sure that you have support for yourself on all levels. So we do have our Wellness Center on campus. It is located in the lower level of the Niebuhr Hall, I believe it's called. It is the Niebuhr is one of our freshman dorms, but it is on the side of the building and on the lower level, so it's separate from the dorm itself. But our Wellness Center is fantastic, really everything relating to your health and well-being. So, just general health services, all that fun stuff. But in addition to that, we also have counseling available to students. Highly recommend you check it out. If you need it, take a look at it. Know that those services and support is available to you. Those options are, resources available to you during your time here at Elmhurst. And if there's, need for additional support, additional resources, they are also really good starting point to get you in touch with the right people, whether on campus or off in the community. But that's another really good area to make sure that you are taking care of yourself, because obviously, going through college and stuff, life happens and things get heavy and things get, to be too much to balance sometimes. And sometimes you just need a little support. And there's nothing wrong with that. Make sure you reach out, utilize those resources, opportunities for support, and ask for help, because it is there. Right. Next up, my favorite topic, study abroad. As I mentioned, I personally was fortunate enough to study abroad during my junior year here at Elmhurst, and definitely, like I said, as a first generation student, I did not necessarily believe that was going to be possible. I assumed that it would be crazy expensive and would just not be in the cards for me. And I ended up going to our study abroad center here on campus that is also located in the lower level of the library. They kind of share the office with the WCPE. And I basically talked with somebody and said, hey, I am broke, but I would love to study abroad. Is that possible? And they said, yes, let's find an option and a program that works for you. And I found a program that actually cost me less to study abroad for 4 months than it did to live on campus, which was crazy. And it also worked towards my majors, my minors. I got all the credits that I needed through that. And I had a fantastic time, and it really worked out. So whether you're looking for a particular area, a particular language, particular price point, go to that, Study Abroad Center, reach out to them, and you can see what is available to you. These are some starting resources that are available online on their webpage through the Elmhurst website, of course. Just looking at the Study Abroad, you can browse through their programs available, look at their FAQ, getting started list here, right? Researching your option, discussing your plans, all those fun things, talking through those next steps to see when it's available. The only thing I regret about Study Abroad is that I did not do it early enough that I could have done it again. I know for a lot of students, depending on your major, your minors, it can be a little bit difficult to do it towards the end of your time here at Elmhurst. You may have classes that are harder to find when you are, in those upper level major courses, but it is definitely something to look into as you get comfortable, as you get settled here at Elmhurst. Start having those conversations, see if it's something you're interested in, see if it's something that's in the cards for you, and then go from there. And like I said, these people are well versed, in their area, and so if you have questions, concerns, they're definitely the ones to talk to about it. I know I myself, even after I had the conversation of, is this financially feasible? I then had the conversation of, well, it's kind of scary to go abroad for 4 months to a whole country I don't really know and speak a language that I'm not really comfortable with either. How does that work? And I, was so happy to the people I reached out to that supported me through that process, talked me through those things to get me ready and comfortable with the idea of it, because really it is the best opportunity, the best experience. And like all the cheesy things that you hear about it, life-changing, fantastic experience, all those fun things are very, very true, and are cliches for a reason, right? So keep on moving here. Last thing is, just don't forget to, take time. This is your time now to take control of your life, find your passions, find your focus, your strengths, your weaknesses, whatever you're interested in. This is the time to explore those things and pursue them. It's better late than never, but no reason in forcing yourself into something that you may not be into, because this is the time to find those passions, find that interest, find your sense of direction, see what you want your own life to look like at the end of the road, what you want to, what you qualify as successful, whether or not you're meeting those goals, whether or not you're hitting those marks. It's all relative to you. It's all up to you what that looks like and what you want that life to look like. Keep that in mind. And don't forget to be, don't forget to not be afraid to fail. I definitely believe that, failure is only failure if you don't learn from it. It is always a lesson, especially studying abroad. I cannot tell you the amount of times I got lost. And while getting lost may seem like kind of an issue and kind of like a failure, at the same time, those were some of the best experiences, because I would find a really cute cafe or a really adorable little shop, and then it turned into, a fun outing instead of a failure. It's all about perspective, but you always got to learn from it. Try to find that focus, and just don't be afraid to push yourself and to see what you want to make your life look like. Lastly, don't forget to breathe. Everything is super overwhelming right now. You've got a lot going on. You're going through probably one of the biggest transitions of your life, at least up until this point, right? There's a lot going on, and it's okay to feel overwhelmed. It's okay to feel nervous, but don't forget to breathe. Don't forget to appreciate it. Take time to really understand what you're going through, because you've probably already come really far from where you had your sights set years ago. I know myself, I definitely get stuck in that trap of thinking, well, you know what, I've got this next goal, that next goal, here's where I want to be in 5 years, 10 years, whatever I'm looking at. And I forget sometimes to stop and look at the present and say, wow, this is what my goal was 10 years ago. And I'm here now and I'm not appreciating it. So don't forget to take those times, take that moment to, acknowledge where you are, appreciate that, give yourself some credit for it. Of course, keep pushing on, keep making those goals, but don't forget to give yourself a pat on the back for getting to where you are right now, and coming up with whatever sense of #adulting that you have so far, and whatever that #adulting is going to look like for you in the future, because it's your own. So make sure you have fun with it, enjoy it, and reach out if you need help. If there's anything else from today's lesson, it is reaching out for help. But that is all. Just a little intro, just a little conversation to get you started, get you ready for your semester here at Elmhurst. As I mentioned, this was recorded for everyone. I do appreciate you working with me through those technical problems. I will be happy to send that out to you afterwards. If you would like the link, let me know. Thank you again so much for joining us. If you have any other questions, feel free to reach out to myself, the admissions team, your admissions counselor. We are here and happy and excited to help you through this next process. It's kind of fun living vicariously through you guys again, getting to relive some of my own memories here from Elmhurst. So best of luck, and we will see you guys soon. Thanks so much. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.